What exactly did Amado do to Kawaki? Will many secrets eventually come to light sooner or later? So far, some of the secrets Amado has been hiding have not been fully revealed to Konoha, especially concerning Kawaki. Starting from implanting karma into Kawaki's body, to planting a chip or code that prevents Kawaki from acting according to his own will, a command code that can essentially turn Kawaki into a cyborg-like being capable of shutting down. Then maybe after the reveal in Chapter 15, I'm sure if it has made us surprised after Amado implanted a camera on Kawaki's body. A camera that can monitor and see where and what Kawaki is doing. Without the help of Ida, Amado can find out what has really happened to Kawaki. Besides that, the most important plot twist in the 15th chapter story yesterday was Kawaki, who was deliberately nerfed by Amado. The reason why Kawaki can be strong until now is because of Amado's scenario that has restored Kawaki's karma before the time skip. Without the power of karma, Kawaki could not have protected Naruto. However, in Chapter 15, Boruto felt something strange here. Isn't it true that if Kawaki becomes stronger, it means he won't be easily defeated or killed? Then, why is Amado doing all this to Kawaki? Could there be another hidden reason beyond just adjusting Kawaki's abilities by weakening his offensive power and enhancing his defenses? In fact, it might make sense if Amado weakened Kawaki's offensive power to maximize his defense and regenerative abilities. Essentially, if Kawaki's offensive power were increased, his defense and regeneration capabilities would likely weaken. However, there seems to be another reason, perhaps one that only Amado can explain in more detail as to why things are happening this way. But even so, I found a clue and a reason why this could happen. To be able to unravel this mystery little by little, let's look at the real clues that Masashi has given about the reason why Amado weakened Kawaki's power. We will look into a future that is already destined to happen. Perhaps you don't fully understand what this means, but let's explore the vision of the future seen by Kashin Koji. This is the vision of the future where Kawaki succeeds in killing Boruto. Kashin Koji explains that if Kawaki manages to kill Boruto, he will eventually face Code, whose overwhelming power cannot be underestimated. In the end, Kawaki will be defeated by Code and become food for the Ten Tails, Yubi. If what Kashin Koji saw about Kawaki's destiny to lose against the Code and become Jubi food really came true, then we can conclude that Amado had no intention at all of increasing Kawaki's strength, even though the Code was a dangerous threat to Kawaki's life. So does this sound plausible? On the other hand, the fact is true that Amado needs Kawaki's karma for his own purposes to restore his daughter's life, and therefore he weakened Kawaki's ability for no reason. He wants Kawaki to stay alive no matter what. And despite the fact that all of that was probably assumed by Amado to deal with Code's attack, but why did Code end up feeding Jubi at the expense of Kawaki? Obviously, this is very contrary to Amado's goals that we know. There are several possible scenarios. The first scenario is that Amado had already offered to increase Kawaki's power, but Kawaki refused. This means that when Kawaki succeeded in killing Boruto in Kashin Koji's vision, Amado had already proposed increasing Kawaki's power because he knew that Kawaki's current power wouldn't be enough to face Code, who had unlocked his limiter. However, Kawaki rejected Amado's offer. This likely goes against Kawaki and Boruto's goals, as both are determined to eradicate the karma marks from their bodies. However, there was another reason that made this a refusal for Kawaki. He did not agree with the conditions proposed by Amado. That condition was to give his karma to Delta. Yep, this is a scenario that makes sense. Supposedly, Kawaki would never give his karma to Delta because Amado could not guarantee that Delta would not become the new Otsutsuki. Then, the second scenario is that Amado's goal is to let Code turn Kawaki into food for the Ten Tails. If Amado's intention is to allow Code to become a new Otsutsuki, it would make sense why Amado didn't enhance Kawaki's power until the very end of his fight with Code. However, I think this scenario doesn't entirely make sense because if Amado needed Kawaki's karma, he wouldn't let that happen. And speaking of Kawaki's limiting power, could it be that Boruto intentionally mentioned this so that Amado cannot realize his true goals in the future? Does Boruto already know the sinister nature of Amado's plans? And that's why he's still keeping it hidden to prevent Amado from doing something even worse? Talking about Amado, there's a story in Buddhism that could serve as a reference to analyze Amado's true intentions. In the past, many Boruto fandom theories speculated that Amado might be an Otsutsuki, possibly part of the same division as Shibai Otsutsuki. To be honest, I was also one of those who assumed that Amado might have something to do with Otsutsuki. The reason Amado possesses Shibai's remains might be that he is an Otsutsuki who willingly sacrificed himself to help Shibai ascend to godhood. He could be planning to resurrect Shibai on Earth either for revenge or to uncover what truly happened to Shibai after consuming numerous chakra fruits. This theory about Amado's intentions is often linked to the story of Buddha and Mara. In this analogy, Shibai represents Buddha, while Amado represents Mara. The story of Buddha and Mara is about Mara attempting to prevent Buddha from achieving enlightenment. A Buddha is a being who has awakened, finding the path to liberation from suffering caused by attachment to desires, perceptions, and distorted thoughts. Shibai, like the Buddha in this analogy, is a figure who has awakened. After consuming countless chakra fruits, Shibai ascended to a higher dimension, leaving behind the ordinary Otsutsuki realm. If you look closely in the story of Siddhartha Gautama, he achieved enlightenment while sitting beneath the Bodhi tree. Many fans believe that the Bodhi tree might reference the Shinju, divine tree. Interestingly, the Bodhi tree is also known as the fig tree, which has spiritual significance in various religions. For instance, in Hinduism, it's referred to as the world tree, with roots connected to the Saraswati River. Mara, on the other hand, is the king of demons, the first to obstruct someone from becoming a Buddha. This makes Mara closely resemble Amado, if Amado's ultimate goal is indeed to resurrect Shibai. What's even more intriguing is that in the story, Buddha countered Mara's manipulations by relying on his eyes. Buddha's eyes, often referred to in Japanese Buddhist teachings as Jogun, or pure eyes, could be linked to Boruto's Jugun. If we connect this to the Boruto story, it could imply that after Shibai became a god, he gained the Jugun. This raises the question, is Amado truly planning to resurrect Shibai? It might sound crazy or nonsensical if you're unfamiliar with everything I've mentioned, especially the connections to Buddha and Mara theories. But essentially, Amado's true motives remain a mystery. Furthermore, his plans for Kawaki are still shrouded in secrecy. What's clear is that Amado is prepared to go to unimaginable lengths to bring his daughter back to life. Whether Kawaki will play a pivotal role or meet a grim fate remains uncertain. Regarding Shibai, Kawaki's karma, and Code's plans to use Kawaki as food for the Ten Tails, these plot twists will eventually unfold. Ultimately, the success or failure of Amado's mission to revive his daughter will be revealed, whether it leads to a bad ending or an even worse one. Let's wait and see. That concludes today's theory analysis about Amado, Kawaki, Code, and Shibai. If you have other opinions, I'm eager to hear them. I'm Nim. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye, Data Bio.